If you're a husband who's tired of hearing things like, you got toothpaste all over the mirror again, I'm not your mother, or you never do anything around here, I'm always doing everything around the house, you're probably finding yourself thinking, I can't get anything right in her eyes, and why is she so mean? I know that when you're constantly on the receiving end of criticism and your wife's cold energy, it feels like there's only one solution to this problem. She needs to change, and if she won't, then you're stuck. The good news is this actually isn't true. I am Lindsay. This is Loving with Intention. Let's dive in so I can give you the exact steps to change this pattern, because you deserve to feel appreciated and seen and respected and loved and all of the good things. So for this video, we're just going to stick with one example of criticism, but the response that I'm sharing, you can use this response to change the critical dance with all kinds of criticism. So criticism often starts with the word why and can include the words you always, you never. Criticism attacks your character, like you're so lazy, you're so argumentative, you're so emotional, you're so reactive. And as always, another side note, my content does not apply to abusive or unsafe relationships. So with criticism, it's one of the Gottman Institute's 4 horsemen, which is one of 4 communication patterns in relationships that predict relationship breakdown. So before we talk about how to change the pattern, we need to talk about the usual pattern. What often happens when someone is criticized is that they fire back with one of the other 4 horsemen. Maybe it's more criticism, or defensiveness, stonewalling, so shutting down, or contempt. So just imagine your wife says, you never do anything around here, I'm always cleaning up after you. You might criticize her. You're so obsessive about cleaning, you need to learn how to chill. Or you might defend and launch into what you do. I'm the one who works my ass off in the yard, I do everything outside, I've been so busy with work. Or you might shut down, stonewall, go completely silent, your jaw is clenched, you're biting your tongue, or you might show contempt. You might give her a nasty look or roll your eyes. This is a super, super, super common dynamic. Her criticizing you and then you responding with a horseman. And what happens next? Usually more horsemen. It's a cycle, a negative cycle, a downward spiral that doesn't feel good for both of you. And if you think about it right now, this cycle that you two get in, it usually doesn't matter who started it or what it's about. Your cycle tends to look the same in your relationship. You two take the same roles, so maybe she tends to criticize, you defend, she criticizes more, then you just shut down. Or maybe she criticizes, you shut down, she keeps pushing, you completely pull away. There are a few different combos here that could make up your cycle. And if you're in a relationship for long enough, you will have what I call a repetitive cycle. When I'm working with clients very, very early on in our work together, we actually map out this cycle. Mapping out the cycle means knowing what's under the surface. And you can actually comment the word roadmap below, comment below, and I will share my new free Love Journey Roadmap with you. One part of this roadmap, it's going to help you identify what's underneath your own unhealthy patterns, because we all have unhealthy patterns, and it helps you get really curious about hers too. When we start seeing what's underneath the surface stuff, this is where real change happens. So just comment roadmap and I will share it with you. All that to say, rest assured that if you can relate to a negative downward spiral and this kind of cycle, you are not alone and I have got you. And this is where you changing the dance comes in. Even if your wife has no idea what a repetitive cycle is, or even if she doesn't admit that she's critical. So just imagine this. What if she criticized you and you didn't jump into the cycle? You didn't do your usual response of criticism, defensiveness, shutting down, or getting contemptuous. Just by pausing, you're already changing things. So you pause, you take 3 deep breaths, give some love to your sweet, sweet nervous system. And then when it comes to criticism, your new response is take responsibility. And I know that sounds ridiculous. You might want to turn me off right now, like skip, that was fun until I found out that. When I learned that this is how you can change the critical dance, I was like, what? Why in the world would I encourage a client to take responsibility when their partner is being critical? That sounds awful. That sounds like I'm saying be a pushover and just accept crappy behavior, let her walk all over you, lose all of your self-respect. But then I dug deeper. The research from the Gottman Institute, the lead marriage researchers in the world, they're amazing. It shows that this truly is the way to get out of that downward spiral cycle. So hear me out. The truth is, if your wife says you never do anything around here, I always clean up after you, she is being critical. And that's not okay. And criticism is an unhealthy strategy to get a beautiful, valid need met. We all use unhealthy strategies. Maybe you don't criticize, but you will have your own unhealthy patterns. I got a whole host of them as well. So taking responsibility here when she says this might sound like, you're right, I have been leaving stuff all over the house, and I know you've been super busy with the kids. I'm sorry. Taking responsibility doesn't mean taking responsibility for everything she said, like that you never do anything or that she always cleans up after you. It means looking for the truth in what she's sharing and getting curious about what's underneath her harsh words. In this moment, what you're doing is choosing to de-escalate the situation and prevent the downward spiral. If she's being critical and she's upset about your stuff laying around, her nervous system is likely activated. And hearing her criticism, it's likely activating yours too, which means that de-escalation or regulation is the very best goal in this moment, because when our nervous systems are activated, we say things and we think things that we would not normally say or think when we are nice and calm and regulated. You choosing to de-escalate versus jumping into your own unhealthy patterns, this is changing the dance. So this does not guarantee a loving, healthy response from her in the moment, and you are far more likely to hear an apology or a loving response in the moment or later when you do take responsibility and validate her frustrations. You're far more likely to be able to reconnect. You're far more likely not to get into that negative spiral if you choose this kind of response. And you might be thinking, so take responsibility and then what, just act like she wasn't being totally rude and totally out of line, like it's all your fault, like you are the bad guy? 100% no. The truth is, though, if you address how you feel about her criticism or tell her that, yes, speaking to you like that, it's not okay. If you address this in this heated moment, because of the states of your nervous system, she's not likely to hear you. She's not likely to validate you. When we are activated, we literally lose touch with empathy, compassion, understanding, seeing different perspectives. We're not in a state to connect because our nervous system is trying to keep us safe from a threat. I have used this example before, and I love it. If you had a bear approaching you, your nervous system is activated, of course. You would be shaking, heart racing, tunnel vision. Then say a friend pulled up in their car, but they're on the other side of you. They can't see the bear. And they say to you, it's really not okay how you talked to me the other day. You would not be like, I am so sorry. I shouldn't have said that to you. I can see why you'd be upset. I'm so apologetic. You instead would be completely focused on trying to stay alive. To that person in the car who can't see the bear, you would look like you didn't care about their feelings. Fortunately, our nervous systems are super good at keeping us safe. Unfortunately, your wife's nervous system doesn't know the difference between a bear approaching her versus you telling her that what she said wasn't okay. If she's already activated because she's got a trigger around mess, which may actually have nothing to do with you, but that's a whole other story, she won't hear you in this moment. Like there's a bear there that you can't see. Her nervous system is working overtime to protect her. She's not hearing your words, just like you wouldn't hear your friend if the bear was right in front of you. That's why de-escalation is the goal in this moment, and why bringing up your feelings later, outside of this moment, is way more impactful for both of you. When we're regulated, calm, and connected, we have the capacity to hear feelings. A great approach later, when you're connected, would be something like, I love you, and I definitely haven't been picking up my stuff lately. It's been super messy. I am really sorry about that. And next time you're annoyed with me, could you tell me in a different way? If you let me know and said something like, I'm overwhelmed and I would like you to pick up your stuff, that would feel so much better. I want to shut down when I feel blamed like that, and I'll work on picking up my stuff more too. And if that sounds like a really stuffy old script, not the way you talk at all, make it your own, totally make it your own. And I remember when I first started working with a relationship coach, I was literally saying to him, you want me to say it like that? Or you want me to say those words? I don't talk like that. Me and my partner don't talk like that. And my coach gently let me know that that was kind of the point. The way we did talk, it hadn't been working. It was time to try something new. So like anything worth doing, this takes practice. This is exactly what I help my clients with now, breaking these patterns consistently and confidently. And if you take responsibility and your wife still escalates and is more critical, you can totally have boundaries while still holding on to that responsibility. So that might sound something like, I'm really sorry, what you're saying is important to me, and I can't hear you when you say it like this. Then take healthy space, a timeout that gives you both space to regulate. When you do bring up your feelings outside the triggered moment, it doesn't guarantee a perfect response either. It just makes it way more likely that you'll be heard and can repair. The criticism conversation is nuanced. There are so many different angles to explore. Like, what if you have been picking up 75% more stuff than usual, or you've literally been working morning to night every day? There are nuances, but that could end up in a super long video. So I'll make more in the future if that could be helpful. For now, responding to criticism by finding something to take responsibility for with consistency, it really is a powerful way to change this pattern without needing your wife to actively work on things or admit that she's critical. And remember, you have unhealthy patterns too. If your wife came to me and told me one of your unhealthy patterns, defensiveness, shutting down, whatever it is, I would be telling her what she could do to break that pattern, which would require her looking at her own stuff, because we can't change someone else. In fact, I made pretty much the same video for women because this is just what you do when your partner is critical and not working on that criticism. It's so important to bring our humanness into this. We see our partner's unhealthy patterns so easily. Of course we do, because they hurt us, and we often don't think about our own, or we see theirs as worse than ours. This is your chance to see your role in the dance. When we think the only way that things can change is if she changes, then we stay stuck. But when you see your role and you get empowered to change, you get to bring that hope back in, because things can change. So your intentional action for the week is to get curious about what role you tend to take when she is critical. Do you criticize back? Do you shut down? Do you get defensive? Do you get contemptuous and really mean? Identifying this outside of the moment that you're triggered, it's a really great first step. It will be part of you catching it when it does happen. The other part to catching it is to know your own nervous system cues. This is an absolutely necessary step that is often missed. So you can check out the video on the screen to learn how to do this. You have got this. I'm sending so much love into your day. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So comment roadmap below for my new free love journey roadmap. And let's have a super intentional week.